All right, we are back. FloTrack Podcast. I'm Kevin. He's Gordon. FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. Email address. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. Watch live. We got someone tuning in from Germany.
Hey,
live.
international podcast here.
That's what people have said. They've said we have an international reach. How you doing, Gordon?
I'm doing great. Last night I was watching the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
USA versus Japan. America's pastime versus Japan's pastime. Japan has a better pastime apparently. But it was fun
By
to
one
watch.
run.
By one run.
By one run. Yeah, good.
It was fun to watch it. It's always interesting seeing like you cheering for team athletes that are American, but they're
weird.
on a different team, so it's kind of weird. But it shows why it's fun to watch. This is what it got me thinking. It's fun. I think it's a big reason why some people enjoy track and field too. It's like it's fun to cheer for athletes that represent your country. Like I enjoy cheering for athletes that represent my city.
Yeah.
But they don't really represent the city. They're just paid to represent my city, right? Or just like whatever. But you're not really paid to represent your country. So it's a little more of like, yeah, you're just doing it because for the love of the country. Now I get it. We can get like, oh, you should get paid in our sports and all that stuff. That's a different story. But it's just cool to see people rally around their hometown. And it made me think like, should we just like should we just like get rid of the NBA and just be like,
It's all international.
it's all international?
It's basically the track model. Basically.
Just track model.
Everybody is saying in the sports world, these big sports, NBA, NFL, should do more to take from track.
Yes,
Everybody's
that's
saying,
what I'm trying to get
What
to.
are those guys doing? I want to do what
Like
they're
we don't
doing.
need Kansas City versus Philadelphia in a Super
no.
Bowl. We just need USA versus Argentina.
Who would you take in football?
Which football?
American football.
American football, USA.
You going US?
The other type of football, Argentina.
Okay.
20 times out of 20.
All right.
21 times out of 20.
I like this. I like this idea.
But like it's
Send it over to Adam Silver and
yeah, it was
Goodell
fun to
and
watch,
those
and
guys.
you know, I think I don't know, it's also cool to watch like at stakes baseball in March.
you know what my takeaway was? This will be the last baseball comment, and then we'll move off of it. Made me really want that pitch clock now.
Yeah,
'Cause I was like,
it was taking time. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
getting late. This
is we're at 30 seconds. Throw the ball.
There should be a pitch clock in getting into the blocks, I think, for some people. Some
Yeah.
people like to take the good old time getting into the blocks.
But see, I like that level of gamesmanship.
But
in
sometimes
baseball, I
it's
don't
a
like
little-
it because it's part of a 3-hour thing. It's not going to extend the
Who do you
meeting.
think takes the longest to get into the blocks?
I don't know, but
I know.
I'm going to watch from now on. Who is it?
He's a really good runner.
Well, of course.
Hasn't broken the world record yet.
You don't do it unless you're good. That's a move that you only pull if you're already pretty good.
Grant Holloway takes a long ass time to get into the blocks.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right.
Watch.
Well, next time we got to talk to him about that.
Yeah. It takes a really long time.
Why do you take so long to get into the blocks?
Because
Is it intentional? Is it?
Definitely.
Is it? Because they practice that. They practice the whole routine. So do you think he's watching? Oh, Devin Allen took him 8 seconds. My routine needs to be 11 seconds.
And do you think that if you take so long to get into the blocks, there's like a limit to how long you can take? Like, could you just see like
they're just gonna start shooting the gun.
But if you just do it like you just trick the official to think that like, oh no, it's a normal time, and then you realize an entire episode of Game of Thrones is gone by.
We also got Dwayne from the UK in the chat. This is awesome.
Love it.
Jordan there says, interesting shirt, Gordon. It's very Gordon.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, not watching, it
podcast.
says, have a take, coward. And then the bottom it says, the art of the take.
The art of the take.
There, okay, there we go. Gordon giving a full view of his
You
shirt.
know who this is an image of?
No, I don't.
It's the Donald Trump, The Art of the Deal cover.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then
They
changed
just put
into
a-
fire emoji.
they
Art
just
of
put
the
fire
take.
over
It's a
it.
joke,
Okay.
and yeah,
Great joke.
Anyway.
The best jokes
hilarious.
we've always said are the ones
you know
you have
those
to explain.
Donald Trump jokes these days.
Yeah.
People loving those.
All right, so on today's pod, talk about Zane Robertson getting suspended for 8 years for doping. Devin Allen going back to Penn. We'll debut our 100-meter rankings for both men and women. And the plan is Chloe Abbott's going to join us on the pod, 400-meter runner and contestant on The Voice.
Chance the Raptor, Team Chance.
Team Chance.
Always take a chance on Team Chance.
Chance the rapper, Chloe the runner. I don't know. Is there anything there?
Dynamic duo right there.
No, yeah. Chloe the runner and singer and everything else she's doing. So we haven't had a guest, though, in forever.
It's been like over a year, probably.
No, it's been less than, well, I don't know.
It's been a year.
We've always planned to
The
have
last
more
guest
guests.
we had was probably Josh Kerr. during
when I was gone.
Euros or NCAAs or Worlds. During Worlds.
No, we had
World
no. We
Indoors.
had Kira D'Amato. Remember when she dunked on
We
you?
did. We did.
Because you looked up the high school results incorrectly, and then
Yes.
she was nice enough to follow up with an email after she found the physical copies of them.
But if this interview goes well, maybe we'll do it more often.
Yeah. If it doesn't,
Then
this is the last one.
Canceling the pod.
Chloe doesn't even know. A lot of pressure on this interview. We've talked to her before. She's great. I'm excited for that. All right. Oh, Rob asked Kevin, how's the bench going? Pretty good. Pretty good. Had some shoulder issues. First time in my life I've had a shoulder injury, though, but still able to lift. Haven't maxed yet, so I can't give you an update on my road to 200.
I'm doing a dunk attempt this weekend.
You're just still going. 2022 never ended for Gordon.
Nope.
All right. Let's talk about this Zane Robertson story. Suspended 8 years after testing positive for EPO. Distance runner, he's run sub 60 in the half marathon. Made a couple Olympic teams, run a variety of distances. Famous in the running world because him and his brother Jake, at a very early point in their career at age 17, moved to Kenya to train. There was actually a feature on FloTrack about this at the time, following their training and racing in their pursuit of becoming the best in the world. Now, Zane had actually announced his retirement earlier this year, but the positive test doesn't come from a post-career test. It comes from a test that was administered when he was still competing at a half marathon.
Yeah, so let's kind of go through the timeline here of the public timeline. So publicly, on February 3rd, Zane announced his retirement. He said, sometimes I post here, sometimes I don't. The last 2 years haven't been great for me on and off the track. A lot of people, companies involved in almost making me lose interest in the sport completely. A lot of things going on outside the sport also. People sometimes forget that we are humans before we are athletes. And the reason why I'm saying this is I have a feeling he knew about this pending doping suspension when he made this post about his retirement on February 3rd.
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago, and we know how long it takes most of these cases to be processed.
Yeah. And then he just talks about how he's retiring and excited. I have no plans. I'm not a professional runner anymore, blah, blah, blah. So then we get the news here on March 21st, 22nd, that EPO. Now, this isn't a burrito type situation or like tainted meat or some like, I didn't know, whatever. This is straight up EPO. That's like the crown jewel of doping is EPO. And his excuse was original.
I hadn't heard
this one.
Yeah.
Chalk this up as a new one.
Well, and it has to be new because it pertains to COVID.
Yeah.
COVID-19 and specifically the
current times.
COVID-19 vaccine.
This excuse is going to be very dated. No one's going to be using this in 2045.
Yeah, this is the window with which
to
use it. Yeah, he says he got administered EPO when he was going in for a COVID vaccine because he said the hospital thought he said he had COVID and they were giving him EPO to treat COVID. I don't know if there was a box like Pfizer, Moderna,
EPO.
Johnson & Johnson.
Let me check. Do you have the card? I think on that card, like there's another box that says EPO.
But here's the issue with it. And this comes from a New Zealand Herald article. Drug-Free Sport New Zealand alleged that Robertson was not administered EPO at the facility, that he had not attended the facility on the claim date, that of the two doctors he claimed had treated him, one was a laboratory technician and the other was not employed at the facility, that the medical notes were not generated at the facility, and the patient number on the notes was not Robertson's. So it didn't take them long to punch no less than 5 holes
here's the thing.
Through this story.
If you're going to use COVID vaccination as your excuse, you should at least have a legit COVID vaccination story to tell. You don't want to make up a story. You don't want to make up the story that you're making up.
Well, and then you get the other 4 years.
Yeah.
And this is why this is 8 instead of 4. He gets the full. Well,
he's dude. He was just like shooting from half court.
Well, exactly, right. But that people want to know. Hey, wow, 8 years. That's a long suspension. Well, that's why you get 4 for the positive test. You get 4 for tampering, and this is considered tampering because he's presenting all this false evidence.
Should you get another 4 for like the ridiculousness of the excuse?
It's like graded on a scale, however crazy you get. I just. It's. I feel bad for obviously all the people like he raced against. You feel bad. Kenya's had a lot of positives over the past couple of years now, But this is just sort of like you throw that in there, like, hey, look at this shady stuff that happens over there. I like on the way out to throw that out there. I don't think that's fair. And again, this was a guy who people followed his story very intently. He had a lot of interest relative. Now he's a good runner, but he had more interest relative to his performance than a lot of other people, just because the brother element, just because the training in another country portion of it. So this isn't just an ordinary bust, if there are ordinary busts anymore.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't really affect much of the future because the guy was going to retire, was retired anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really affect the landscape of international athletics. Also, it doesn't really affect landscape. He wasn't a medal contender.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Olympics and he's pushing people back a spot. I'm sure there's prize money on road races and things, but there's not a massive reallocation of medals that has to take place now because he got popped.
Yeah, it's people still dope. That's what we're learning. As much as we think like, hey, that's something people did in the past. That's something that people learned their lesson and will never do again.
No, it's going to continue.
2023 in March, and it still happened.
Well, not just dope, but as you mentioned, with EPO, a thing that everybody is clear on. There's no sort of I was taking it for some other purpose. It's pretty straightforward.
Do you think though a mixture of EPO plus COVID vaccination is probably like super dope? Yeah. Like you get like
maybe that's the next installment of the Icarus documentary.
Yes.
Remember how that started, and then it took that turn.
We were trying to see the Wuhan lab situation, and it turns out New Zealand's been doping.
This guy just comes up with some sort of creative concoction. He already had the B sample tested. I'm guessing this is the end of the road here, but
literally.
Well, perhaps he's gonna talk.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have a statement eventually.
I won't have more. Maybe he reveals some information. Although, would he have done that already in order to get a lesser sentence? But does it even care about a lesser sentence at that point if you're already retired? Maybe the incentive to cooperate isn't there and give up more information isn't there because the ban doesn't matter to him.
I think what he's going to do is he's going to take his phone and he's going to take his laptop and he's just going to do this.
Close it.
Just close it.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
yeah.
Live life. Move on.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate too because you always then ask the question, okay, was this happening the entire career, a portion of the career? How much is it something he just did at the very end?
When he was older.
Yeah, and that's the story that people who are, want to be forgiving and want to believe that. And in some circumstances, it makes sense. But I also don't. People aren't going to spend a ton of time thinking about, okay, when was the exact moment you started using something like EPO? It's going to impact your entire career and how it's perceived. So it's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
All right. Happier news. Devin Allen of the Philadelphia Eagles. Back.
NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes. Back.
Future 53-man squad. He's making the squad. He's making the team next year.
Okay.
He's on the practice squad still.
You heard it here first from Gordon.
I think he's going to make the team.
All right. If you say so. So he's back. Penn relays. They announced it. Going to run the high hurdles.
Staying in Philadelphia. Hasn't left Philadelphia. Makes sense.
Yeah. And last year, a lot of attention, obviously, going to the NFL. Maybe, do you think more attention even this year? Because he's been on the team for a year. People know the name more now. I'm excited to see it. And I like it. I like that he's doing it. He has a connection with the city. Obviously, you shouldn't need any excuse to get to Penn Relays because of how awesome an environment and immediate it is. But he's in just such a unique situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's during the NFL draft time. So I'm sure Philadelphia sports fans are going to be kind of being like, oh, let's not forget about this guy.
Yeah.
He's in the wings waiting. Like he might be the next, the hidden gem that they don't know about, because it does take a long time to get back into football plays and understand that when he was out of it for like 5+ years. But non-football wise, Devin Allen, he probably wants to have a great year on the track because he never got to have that finishing moment in Eugene with the whole DQ-ness and false start bullshit that went around.
Whoa. You can't say that You get flagged. I've realized.
No,
that.
you only get flagged if you say it within the first 10 seconds of the clip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're good.
Yeah.
You can say it one more time. Watch. I'll say it again.
No.
Bullshit.
No, we got kids listening, man. Never mind. Go ahead.
All right. So what I was going to say is, let's not forget, who ran the fastest 110 hurdles last year?
It was Devin Allen.
It was Devin Allen.
Yeah. Should he also run a 60 in this meet? Should they make an exhibition 60 or him just worth against some other guys?
Why do you want to run a 60?
So maybe he can run a little bit faster in 670.
Oh.
And he can lay claim to the
Tyreek Hill, yeah.
The U.S. Masters 25 to 29 age group champion.
We should get a clock timer at the 60-meter mark of the 110 hurdles. I bet that will be faster than 670. No?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Is he going to run the world record?
Is 670 pace the world record pace?
I think that. I don't think you need to do the math. I think it's
670 divided by 60.
Well, it's going to be 1.12
times 110. 12.28. Yeah, he's not running 12.28. That'll be.
It is cool of you that you were just so confident. You thought he could run over hurdles faster than Hill could just.
I don't know.
It.
I'm just thinking.
I would be a statement.
I mean,
I just say throw him in a flat 60.
Who do you think would win in a 100-meter dash between Hill and Allen?
Oh, Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah. After seeing that, 670. Prior to Hill's race, I would have said Hill.
Yeah. I mean, I bet you.
This is why people don't race.
Allen could probably run 6. What's Allen's 60-meter PR?
People are asking.
He has run personal bests. He's run 60-meter PR slow, but that was from 2014. So he hasn't really run. I mean, he ran 7:49 in the 60-meter hurdles.
Mm.
He could probably run at least 6.5, I think, in the 60 meters. Right? 6.5?
6.5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
He's
in the 6.5s, not 6.50.
Yeah, 6.59.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he could acquit himself very
His
nicely.
100 meters time is kind of slow. He's only run 10.2 in the 100.
Well, he's only run it. He hasn't run it that much.
I know, but like if you can run 12.99, not 12.
No, 12.8.
12.84.
Yeah.
You should be able to run sub 10.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't think sub 10 now is going to happen. Maybe at his
But
peak.
12.84 should be a sub 10.
I do wonder, Omar McLeod's sub 10, but not that many high hurdlers actually do it that often. I do wonder how long the list would be of sub 13, sub 10 guys if more of them did it. I mean, what's Grant's PB?
Has he broken 10 yet?
No, he hasn't broken 10.
How do you know?
Because
Are you like
I follow Grant Holloway. I do my research for the pod, and I understand.
What do you? Grant Holloway's 100-meter record PB is 10:21.
That's what I'm saying. But what's his 60? 6.65.
6.5. Oh,
6.50. Yeah.
all right.
And maybe the last 40 meters would be the most challenging. But none of Holloway's times make sense if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because his quarter's really good, but then he ran that 2, and his 2 wasn't. What was his 2 like? 20.2, 20.3.
His 200 outdoors is 20.66. His indoors is 20.69.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either.
That doesn't make any sense. His indoor 400 PR 49.18.
Well, that is.
He's never run an outdoor 400.
Yeah, I guess the
Grant Holloway's marks are.
Well, we're basing a lot of it off his 4x4 relay splits.
Yeah.
The fact that mark is carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah.
For Grant Holloway.
But it's just funny when you look at Grant Holloway's times outside of his hurdle times, you're always like, who is this guy?
Well, he was a really good multi-eventer in high school.
Well, he didn't do the actual multis.
Did the Pent, didn't he? Or
No.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, one of those New Balance, one of those national
He did
championship
a
meets.
pentathlon?
Yeah, you haven't seen that? Look at
It's not on World Athletics, so it didn't happen. Was it in the official World Athletics calendar at the time?
No, this was like 2013, 2014.
He did a pentathlon? I don't believe you.
Yeah. That's watch.
You bring up the Grant Holloway Invitational on Mile Split right
Hold
now.
on.
You gotta bring up. Are you trying to find his athlete profile?
Yeah. Here we go.
He did not do a pentathlon.
He did a multi-event thing.
I don't believe you.
Somebody in the chat, Gordon straight. I'm 100% right on this.
It's also hard to find his profile now on the mile split because he has a name. I found it. Okay.
He has a name?
Well, he has a meet named after him, so overcome.
Gotcha.
What his. Okay, he has done. Yeah, there's no pentathlon, Mark.
Was it heptathlon?
No, he's never done it.
Yeah, he has. I know for a fact he's done it.
Okay, wait, he did run 1,000 meters, so he has definitely.
Yeah, and he was ahead by so much. He just jogged it.
Pentathlon, yeah, you're right. He got first, 4,230.
What
points.
meet was it? Wasn't it a legit
New Balance
meet?
Nationals indoor. Yeah, sometimes
issue an apology.
Sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day.
Issue an apology.
You're right.
You're making fun.
You're right.
Of me.
You're right.
You should. I have 3 kids. I have an excuse for not remembering anything. You don't. You need to be sharper. You need to be on your game. Yeah. Khalil says. Khalil confirms.
He did it one time. There was.
How many times did you want him to do it? He was.
Well, I'm just saying.
All world
if he
in the
just
hurdles.
if he happened to not do it that day, you would have been way wrong.
But I didn't just pick it up out of thin air. I remember reading about it or seeing it or someone telling me about it. And then I just thought of Grant Holly running.
Which one is it? Get your story straight. Did you read
don't
about
remember.
it? Did you see about it or did you hear about it?
I know about it, which is more than you can say. And I remember him running thinking about that would have been hilarious to watch him run the 1,000. What did you run the 1,000 in?
What did he run 1,000 in? He ran 2:52. That's like Kyle Garland land.
2:52?
Yeah. You thought it would be faster?
No, that's faster than I thought it would be.
Oh.
Well, so 3 minutes is 15-minute 5K pace. So it's not terrible.
If you
8 times 5 is 40. So that's 14:20 5K pace.
If you go on Grant Holloway's mile split profile,
yeah,
and you do, you can do like Command F to like see how many times a certain word is on the profile.
Yeah.
How many times do you think the word 1ST is, as in the word first, on his profile? How many times?
This is just high school?
It's all his entire career.
Oh.
How many times is the word first written on his profile?
102.
265 times.
Oof, I was off.
It's a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
265. All right.
That should be a stat pre-race.
Because he won like the high jump.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, like 12 different times in 2013,
I think it should be a stat when
he's won 265 events.
Yeah.
In his career.
Career wins.
So we should have a celebration at number 300.
Yeah. Hey, this is your 300th win.
He's like, wait, what?
Go up to him if you see him at USA's or Worlds.
I'm gonna. I'll be like, it's not gonna be number 300. It'll be like number 278. I'll be like, so Grant, how's it feel to win number 278? He's like, wait, what? Yeah.
Like
which one? If you had to rank all 278, where does this one rank?
Like he's a race car driver or something. Golfer. All right, we got these 100-meter rankings. Ready to dive into these?
Yes, but before we dive into them, we need to do an official statement on the rankings. So you independently did your rankings.
Mm-hmm.
I independently did my rankings using a computer algorithm.
Yeah.
And then we looked at your rankings, we looked at mine, and we kind of merged. We sacrificed some of our thoughts. I let my computer know its feelings get hurt. Be like, Kevin has a point here. My computers said, computer has a point to you, right?
Yeah.
And so we came across these rankings. So let's do the men first. Do men.
Sure.
All right. Number 1 is Fred Curley. Obviously, he's the world champion. He's run multiple fast times. He's number 1 easily. This is the whole idea of these rankings is kind of like, where is it going to diverge from how the results ended in Worlds? Because at Worlds, it was Curley, then Bromell, then Bracey. In our first rankings of the 2023, we're not going with the exact same order as Worlds. We're going to put Oblique Seville 3rd and Bracey 4. Why are we doing that? Why are we putting the guy who finished 4th as the 3rd ranked guy going into 2023?
Well, and then you could also say, why is Bromell up in 2? We took what they did outdoors, but also we got to sprinkle in what happened indoors. And there was nobody who had a big enough indoor season to supplant what Fred Curley did. Correct. And also it helped that Fred Curley's running. So we know he's healthy. Yeah. He's out in Australia running 200, running 400. The times aren't popping off the page, but he's out there and he's fine. Seville ran that fast 60 outdoors. So I think that's worth something. Bromell lost to Lyles, but then came back and ended up getting the world lead in the 60. Yeah. So I think he's back on track. I'm not going to penalize him much for that loss. Bracy just hasn't run.
Yeah.
He hasn't run yet. So he has an ability to move up. We're not forgetting about the medal that he got on the track last year. But when things are that close, if you're competing, you're moving up. So I feel good about this group of 4. I mean, the whole top 10, I'm somewhat confident right now. But I also think this is a situation where many of these guys could get gold. Not just medal. Many of these guys could get gold. And Seville, people forget, was 4th last year at Worlds.
Yeah.
So bumping up to 3rd is not a huge jump.
Jamaicans haven't forgotten.
No, and I haven't forgot because I was the one telling you.
Yeah, I chose Akeem Blake.
Seville.
So beyond the top 3 so it's Curley, Bromell, Seville's our top 3. Bracy 4, Coleman 5. And then we decide to break some rules. We're like, yes, we get it. U.S. only going to have 4 people on the starting line at Worlds, but they have other guys who are top 10 in the world. Yeah. So we're putting Noah Lyles at 6. Over-under was 5.5 for Noah Lyles. We put him at 6. I feel like a lot of it's still just on the pedigree of his 200. Yes, he hasn't put together recent good hundreds. His 60s weren't anything.
60s were good,
but they weren't. Come on, they weren't not good. They weren't. I'm going to win gold medal at the
But there's a difference between that and they're being good. And they were still good. Now
they were good for a college kid.
No. He was good. He was good. And he had to scratch out of that US final with injury. Maybe in the final he goes 648 and then we're giving him a little bit bigger bump. You're right. A lot of this is the 200.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is
deserving so 19.
But he's running better in the 60 than he has his entire career. So it would make sense that his 100 would be a little bit better.
So, okay, Coleman 5.
Coleman didn't run much this regular season,
60.
But he beat Lyles after the Lyles false start.
Coleman 5, Lyles 6. Omanyala 7, who has run 2 fast times at the World Athletics, is not counting.
Yeah. Don't know what's going on there.
But
he also ran indoors, some indoor 60s, and they were
he beat
6.5.
Marcel Jacobs. 8. The computers had Simbene. You did not have Simbene.
I didn't.
So we put him in there.
But I think Simbene's a guy who you really can't take him out of the mix. Yeah. Right? He's always going to be a factor.
He's not going to give you fast times, but he's going to find a way to make a final.
Well, and he might give you a fast time, but he's going to go on his schedule. Right? And we didn't see him indoors at all.
And then 9 and 10, Terrence Jones, newcomer from the Bahamas after a good late indoor season. And then Michael Norman. I mean, yeah, sure, he has no 100-meter pedigree of late, but he did run 9.8 in the middle of nowhere in Texas. He said he's focusing on it this year, and he's a world champion. We got to give something to that. So having 3 world champions in Curley, Lyles, and Norman all in the top 10, it's pretty cool. Also, former world champions in Christian Coleman also in there. So it's,
So Simbene, I misspoke. He has run, but it was some outdoor 60s as well. A 654, 653, and then a 10.18 into a -3 headwind. So I like the inclusion of Simbene. I will also say Akeem Blake.
Yeah, notable omissions, Akeem Blake.
Yes. Makai Williams,
injury.
Tobogo of Botswana has been really good. So
Jacobs.
Marcel Jacobs.
The Olympic champion.
Yeah.
The Olympic champion was the 4th guy we listed on the guys not in the mix.
So what I did,
which is kind of crazy.
When I was breaking this down, you're trying to group them into tiers or saying, okay, well, this person, we can't put this person over that person. So for example, Terrence Jones, he's the NCAA champion. You can't really put another NCAA guy above him right now.
Yeah, like you can't put Williams above him.
Right, and Favor Ashet, you can't put him above it. But then you're figuring out where all these runners slot in. And when you go with someone like Jacobs, you're thinking, well, look at what his 60-meter times were. That wouldn't allow him to be ahead of some guys. And then you look at what he ran in the 100 last year. Yeah, he won Euros, but didn't compete at Worlds. So I think he is right now outside the top 10. Doesn't mean things can't change. An interesting guy is the guy who beat him at Euros, Samuel Ceccarelli of Italy, who's run in the, he's 6'4" guy now, but his 100, he hasn't been even close to sub 10 yet. So that could be an interesting story to watch. does he develop into a sub 10 guy? And if so, could he be somewhat of a threat? Is he a make the finals guy, perhaps? But we haven't seen him put it together indoors yet, but he's still very young.
Kevin, I spelled Terrence Jones' name wrong in the ranking, so I just fixed it.
Okay, good.
I just fixed it. Sorry, Terrence. I apologize. I call him Terrence.
Okay, as long as you fixed it, we're all good.
Yeah. All right. Now, how many guys do we have in the top 10 that were American? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we going to get called out for American bias by having 6 of our top 10 being Americans?
Sorry, one more thing. Ceccarelli, 647, his 100 PB, win legal, 1045. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But he's only 23. Okay. Ask me that question again so I can listen to it.
Are we going to get some negative feedback because we have 6 Americans in our top 10 and you are American and I'm American? 2 Americans made the ranking. Are we biased?
Everybody's biased in a certain way, Gordon. Yeah, you could take Norman off just because he doesn't have a recent, like you said, 100-meter performance. I mean, they went 1 through 3 in Eugene. And then you have Coleman coming back after running a good indoor season. You have Lyles, who had a really good indoor season. So those 5 you can't really argue with. If you're telling me, you'd have Omanyala ahead of Lyles or Simbine ahead of Lyles, I think they're all pretty close. But I think really the only one that you say, all right, should they be on there yet, would be Norman. But everybody else, no, look at the results. Look at the results from Eugene. This isn't complicated.
You're right.
I don't think so.
It's not complicated.
Yeah. I mean, again, a bit of a logjam here. I think Curley is a clear number 1. After that, I think it's pretty tight. But yeah, we have Seville up there in 3, breaking up an American sweep as of right now. I think that's fine. I think that's accurate.
All right. Time for women. See if our American bias sticks with us for the women. Not at the top. We're not going to say any craziness. We're not going to put any American women up at the top because we know the Jamaican women, 1, 2, 3, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Sharika Jackson, Elaine Thompson, hurrah, RR 1, 2, 3. Any reason to move that order of 1, 2, 3 or not? Or just like, come on.
I mean, unless you want to put a bunch of way too much weight into indoors, which you shouldn't do in this event because these 3 women are all proven. No, it should be. I mean, you could say let's flip that order. That top 3 could go in a different order, but no one else should be in the top 3 right now. That's the top 3.
When you take into account win legal and non-win legal marks and like rate the performances based off of how much wind you had. So if you had like a bad headwind or a really good tailwind, whatever. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price ran the 8 best marks last year.
Right. So again,
so really the final should be
argument.
Shelly Ann and 7 clones should be the final because
there's no real argument there.
So yeah, Shelly Ann's 1, Sharika Jackson 2, Elaine Thompson hurrah 3. And then this is kind of where I think the real ranking begins. After the top 3, we go Dina Asher-Smith 4, Julian Alfred, big rise here to 5 based off her phenomenal indoor season. Aaliyah Hobbs had a solid indoor season as well in 6. Then Toulouse 7, Kambunji 8, and then 2 Americans around the top 10, and Melissa Jefferson 9, and Twanisha Terry 10.
Yeah.
Big one is Alfred.
So, yeah, you got to reward performance. She showed up, and it wasn't just the 60, it was the 200. And her,
what have you done for me lately ranking right here?
Yeah, a little bit when it makes sense. Again, I'm not going to use that to displace the top 3 who are clearly
because Sharika didn't have a good
60, but
60,
who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, we know what she's going to do in the 100. So the way I look at these is if everybody lined up right now, what would the order be? This is not a pick about who's going to win world championships. It's just if everybody lined up right now, what would the order be?
Hold on.
In the 100. So
what's the difference between that?
One is how you think they're going to do when the world championships come. One is right now, if they all were in a magical race, who would get first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth?
Okay, if they were all in a magical race right now, who would get first, second, third, fourth?
This is what I think. This is what I think the order would be.
Right now, or at Worlds?
No, right now. If they're in 100 right now, I think they'd be fine.
So okay, but at Worlds, what will be different then?
Well, you're factoring in like if you think someone's going to peak or injuries or anything like that in there as well.
But like, tell me what's the difference in these two lists? I want to know your difference between the August list and
okay. We've done
list.
this like 3 times. One is like a snapshot.
I know.
Right now. The other one's a projection.
Okay, tell me the difference of how will your projection change?
Oh, my projection. What would my projection be? Let's see.
What would you change for the projection version?
I mean, I might have Alfred in the medals.
Who are you taking off?
Well, it's tough.
Come on, say it. Say it out loud.
No, I don't know.
No, you can't just say I might have. Like, have a take.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know on that one. I mean, I think when you're talking about projection, though, usually you're factoring in health and who's run well in the big meets. And
I know all the. Yeah, I just want to put a name to the piece of paper. What would change on these rankings in your mind?
Between now and then?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. If I did, I'd bet money on it. I don't know.
Well, just tell me.
Point.
What does Kevin Sully think?
What I don't know. This is what I'm saying is right now.
Who's going to win the NBA title?
The Bucks.
How do you know that?
Because the Sixers are not very good.
But no, how do you know that?
So easy.
It didn't happen yet. How do you know?
Yeah.
You have an opinion, and you said the Bucks.
There's more data there.
So
there's more data there. There's
a whole year of data.
So
here.
you're saying who's my pick for 100-meter champion?
No.
Shelley and Fraser Price.
No, I'm not asking that.
I don't know what you're asking. I guess.
What would be different? How would you change these rankings if you had to do a projection ranking as opposed to right now ranking? I'm asking you to have an opinion on put your.
Yeah, I would say I would probably have Alfred higher.
Where?
That's what I said.
And who would you take down?
I mean, third behind Fraser Price and Jackson.
Okay, so you take Elaine Thompson-Herah off the top 3.
Yeah.
Okay. That wasn't hard.
Yeah, but that's not that's not as interesting, I don't think.
Taking the Olympic champion off?
No, I mean just guessing based on what we think they're going to do. Because it's just the injuries and the who's peaking at the right time. It's just then nothing in the results don't matter when you do that. That's why I don't like that style of ranking. Okay. Then you're just coming up with something a story in your head and you're putting it down on paper. This is like, hey, right now this is who I think would do it. So anyway,
but that also doesn't make sense because do you think Shrika Jackson will get second in 100 right now? I don't think she would.
In 100, yes. In a 60, no. In
Really?
100, yes. I guess when I say right now, that's a little bit
You mean right now where they got 30 days of training?
Yeah, I guess because track is so like specific like that.
Yeah.
I guess the right now is a little bit more.
Like literally
broader.
right now, because some of them might be asleep. It depends on what time zone they're in.
Well, and if it's right now,
and some have to. Who's traveling the most to get to the right now race?
Yeah,
like, is it in Austin? Because that's Julian Alfred's going to have an advantage because she just can show up.
Like if we had the reason I use the right now is because I want the results to matter, like what they run matters, which is why I have Hobbs in 6 with a 694, and you put that combined with the fact that she ran pretty well outdoors last year. Alfred is interesting because Alfred, remember, Devin Allen wasn't the only one who had a crazy DQ on that night in Eugene. Women's semifinals, Alfred got DQ'd with a .094 reaction, I believe. Went after the gun.
It's a great memory.
DQ'd.
You got a great memory, sir. I thought you had bad memory because of kids.
No, it would have been even better pre-kids.
Okay.
It might be .095. Now I'm second guessing myself. In any event, I don't think she was going to go win the final.
No.
I don't think she was going to get top 3 in that final, but maybe she gets 5th and then everybody looks at the season differently. Yeah. And it was all because of that DQ. Because remember, she ran 1081 last year. So she was running well last year. But now she's on a different level entirely, which is why I think
maybe
5th matters.
Maybe even, call me crazy, but if she does make the final and gets 5th, she goes pro and doesn't even have the Texas season.
Yeah.
It could have been the Coach Flo was probably like, thank God you got DQ because now I got a whole extra year with you.
Yeah.
Not that coaches are cheering for athletes to get DQ'd.
Yeah, but, don't get DQ'd. I think they're against that. All right, and then the rest of that list, I think it's those last 3 or 4. It's pretty open there. Kambunchi ran indoors, ran well. Tulu ran well. Jefferson and Terry were good last year, but I mean, I'm sure the Jamaican 4-5 could lay claim there as well too. In the chat, someone asked about DeGrasse in the 100. Yeah, I mean, I would put him in there as well as somebody who's right on the outside. We just don't know. And he's the perfect example of the now versus later. DeGrasse is the perfect example of because the regular season, he's just doing all that to get ready for World Championships. So he may not even appear on the top 10 list until 2 weeks before World Championships. A lot of pushback on, not a lot, but some pushback on Jacobs not being in the top 10.
Are they Italian?
Do you want to respond? No, I don't know if they're Italian. We established it was an international show. Germany, UK.
What's the pushback? How dare we not put the guy who keeps on getting beat in our top 10?
Let me find
who
one
didn't
of these.
make the world final in our top 10.
Well, Gerald says Terrence Jones has never broken 10 seconds. How is he ahead of the many people that broke 10 seconds last year? Satoshi says, so they ranked 100 men based on the 60 dash. No, that's not what we did.
Why is Fred Curley number one?
Fred Curley didn't run a 60. But I'm not going to ignore a 60 as well, too, because it tells you something. Doesn't tell you the whole thing. Where's the other one? There was another one. Jordan, right. The Olympic champion and world indoor champion doesn't get the benefit of the doubt for more recent performance than Michael Norman, all caps, skull emoji.
No, he's getting benefit of the doubt because literally his most recent performance is winning the world title in the 400. And I don't know about you, but you got to run 100 meters within a 400.
Yeah. I don't know if that helps your argument there, Gordon.
I don't know. Who comes off as more prime to succeed in track and field in 2023? Michael Norman after winning the 400 meter title, or Marcel Jacobs after limping through worlds and then winning the European 100 meter title?
Actually is a really good question in terms of odds. That actually is like who would have the better odds right now, Norman versus Marcel Jacobs. Yeah, I mean that you assume Norman's healthy.
Yeah, you have yet to see a bad Norman race. We've seen multiple bad Jacobs situations,
but it's 100 versus a 400, and if he does the Curly model, then yeah, okay, it's going to be fine. But he's 10. I just think...
Yeah, he's also 10. We're not putting him on 3.
If you did top 20, everybody's favorite runner would be on there. And I think there's not much of a difference between on the back half of this list.
Also, why are we playing at 10? That person's not even making the final, so it's a non-issue.
Well, that is the other thing. Yeah, if someone gets 10th and they don't even make the final, they would consider that not a good result. They would not be happy with that result. Oh, I'm 10th best in the world? No.
Yeah, because the way the rankings work is 1 through 8, and then everyone that doesn't make the final is 9th. So it's like a 100-way tie for 9th for everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, with Norman, I need to see it. Like, I want to see a couple hundreds, not just.
You need to see it. You need to read it, or do you need to hear about it?
No, I need to see what he does, because the hundreds that he ran in 2021 were good, but that fastest time came from that AP Ranch meet. And I don't know, I guess Jacobs, we're always going to see that guy had that Olympic title, right? You can't get that image out of your mind. He beat a lot of these guys.
Correct.
He ran fast, but you look at recent results. Yeah. I mean, indoors, he's judged based on what he's done previously. And we saw how good he can be indoors when he beat Christian Coleman World Indoors. So okay, this is Jacobs, this is how good he can be. And then we saw what he was this indoor season when he lost the Italian championships, lost Euros, and to boot, he looked hurt as well too, grabbing his leg. You got to factor that stuff in, right? If you were at 6'4" and now you're at 6'5",
you're clearly lying on your hinge profile.
Well, I meant that actually was kind of a good joke. I'm not gonna lie.
Thanks, man. Got a kind of a good joke compliment from my colleague, Kevin Sully.
Yeah, Jordan says, to be fair, I mean, this is a good pushback. Who do you choose? The man who sub 10 is dubious and who won an asterisk world title, or the Olympic champion, world indoor champion? I can't rank a ghost. Norman is not top 10 unless he runs.
The asterisk world title, big Stephen Gardner fan. We see.
Stephen Gardner's great.
Why is it an asterisk world title? How is Norman an asterisk world title?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
It's because of Stephen Gardner.
Yeah, but there's injuries in a lot of events.
Yeah, but
people choosing different.
The best
events.
guy not being in it does make it easier to win.
But then you got to have an awful lot of asterisks. going back. Not just this World Championships.
Got a lot of asterisks from their 2016 NCAA titles.
Oh, please don't talk about Ches.
Jaron Lawson.
Please don't talk about Ches anymore. Yeah, this will be interesting. Like, this is I'm glad people have opinions on it.
Yeah. What ranking should we do next?
It's going to change. The 200.
This is going to be a daily segment.
200.
Until we get to the end of time.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the javelin throw rankings.
800?
800? Ooh.
No. Emmanuel Career 1. 2 through 10? Question mark.
Random.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. What
no, I would just. I'm just thinking. I hope they run enough so that way we can make some changes.
Yeah.
And it's not just hypothetical. Because we used all of indoors and all last year and everything to get to these rankings, but you hope that there's going to be some competing head-to-head or at least competing in legitimate meets so you can see where everybody stands. Because someone like Bracy, maybe he is number 1. Maybe he's number 9. You just don't know.
Bracy did tweet out a very cryptic tweet that made me think this guy might win the title. It was like two weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I saw it and I was like, ooh, that's giving me good vibes that like Bracy's like ready to tear it up.
Well, what was the...
I forget it, but I just remember seeing it and be like, no one's talking about the guy who got second at Worlds. Everyone's talking about the Olympic champion, the world champion.
And it was pretty close.
Incoming Noah Lyles, the
close.
Resurgence of Christian Coleman, the I'm still here Bromell, but everyone's just ignoring Bracy. And we even ignored him by dropping him from 2nd to 4th. But, Bracy didn't do us any favors by not running, so... If Bracy goes out there and runs a bunch of 6'4s indoors, we're like, I know you're still number 2.
Oh, 100%. The only way, I think there's a small group of people who could have passed Curley, and they would have been probably Bromell or Bracy, and they would have had to run just completely on fire during the indoor season for them to pass Curley. But even then, it would have been tough.
So the plan's going to be to release all the other all the other event rankings throughout the week and next week and so on. We're also going to have some U.S. rankings.
Yeah.
So just U.S. only. And then NCAA rankings.
Gordon loves
So 3 tiers of rankings, NCAA, U.S., World. Can anyone be number 1 in all 3?
It's a great question.
Well, can you think of anyone that could be number 1 in all 3?
Number 1 in all 3. U.S., so can an American collegian be number 1 in anything? I guess you'd say maybe Britton Wilson?
Or
who am I missing?
think hard.
Oh. Kyle Garland?
Or
I don't know. Go ahead. I don't know.
Jasmine Moore.
In the triple? She's going to be ahead of...
Long jump.
She's going to be ahead of...
Long jump.
Where do you have her?
I don't know, but she could be. She could be number... She jumped over 7 meters.
Yeah, but didn't...
Maybe not in the first round, but she could eventually become number 1.
Long jump indoors. Let me look at this.
Yeah, long jump indoors. Let's look at it.
Yeah, she world lead. Sawyer's was 7.00. But what was last year's indoors? This is some good stuff here.
Yeah. Come on.
7.09 Valletta. Let's go outdoors. Hold on.
Yeah, go outdoors. It's Tara Davis.
Let's go deep dive. In the world?
Yeah, she had the number 1 jump in the world.
Really?
Yeah. So Jasmine Moore, she could be pull off the trifecta. NCAA, USA, World.
Outdoors. This is good stuff.
This is fun.
It wasn't. Oh, that's 2023. No, 2022. Outdoors. It was Brooke Bushkuhl, 7:13.
Oh, there was
Mihambo, 7:12.
A non-win legal jump. Sorry.
Yeah. Mihambo's really good.
Yeah.
And Valletta's really good.
Yeah. But Jasmine Moore is now very good.
No, I'm not saying she's not very good. I for the rankings though, it's gonna be tough to.
So right now though, right, Corin, we're doing right now. Snapshot, Kevin Sully here.
What I'm saying is pretty obvious. It's like a power ranking versus because you did like who's gonna win the NBA title. It's like there's different rankings in NBA or NFL when you're doing it midseason versus people's pick about who's gonna win.
Everyone looks at rankings differently.
Yeah, I think where I confused you and maybe confused myself was when I said right now we think of it completely literally, and then you're saying okay, well then Julian Alfred she's on fire right now. Like,
Yeah.
No, you're probably not going to bet against her because we know she's in shape and she's ready to roll. But I guess that's not entirely what I meant.
Yeah.
But we got there. We're hoping to get Chloe Abbott here on the line here pretty soon. We've got 10 more minutes left in the show. She's supposed to join at 10 till.
Is this how we?
Are you going to talk musical theater? Or wait, what was it? Show choir versus musical theater?
Yeah. Which did she do musical theater? I'll ask her.
You got to ask first question.
First question.
Wait, which one is the good one again? Musical theater's good, right?
Yeah.
And then show choir's bad.
Yeah. Show choirs for the people who don't have talent.
Gosh. Oh Lord. I hope
Show choirs are single threat. Musical theaters are triple threat.
Triple threat. All right.
Sing, dance, and act. Show choir is just
give me an example.
Singing and fake dancing.
Can you give me an example of show choir? What have I seen that's show choir?
Glee is show choir.
Oh, okay. We talked about that then.
Yeah, we talked about this. Musicals are Hamilton.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to. This is really hard.
All right. So here's the thing. We decided we're going to start doing some interviews on the pod. And
yeah, we're rolling.
The thing we got to figure out this whole interview thing is scheduling them properly.
Yeah. No, it's good. We got 1 hour. Well, we got 3 hours. So.
We have 3 hours?
Well, 1 hour slots 3 times a week.
No, but like we have 1 hour. There's only 9 minutes left in the pod, and we have yet to interview a guest.
Oh yeah. No. She said 120. So we're all good.
Okay, we're good.
I mean, what's your in the future you're talking about? Just trying to get like a. We can't change the time.
Well, here's my thing is when we do our podcast, like when all the track athletes are working out.
Yeah, maybe that's it. We get them all post workout.
Yeah.
When we don't get any athletes.
Do you think it's better to interview an athlete before their workout or after their workout?
Oh, after for sure.
Yeah. But if they have a bad workout, they're probably not going to be in a good mood.
Yeah. Depends what time zone they're in too. Maybe we go international with this thing, and then the time zones work out.
Carson Warholm's probably just eating dinner right now, watching.
And he's been on the pod before.
Television.
You weren't on that pod. But
I wasn't.
Lincoln and I were on that pod. Good interview. Gave good stuff. Talked about why he ran in 2020. Said you had 10 years. Can't waste one of them. You got 10 years to compete in track.
How many years has he been competing so far?
I think he meant as a pro, not overall.
Oh, because I was like,
is this it? Are we to the end?
He's 27. He's probably been running for more than 10 years now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Anything else in the chat?
Chat, what's going on other than they hate us? Let's see. People are talking about Elaine Thompson-Herah running a 400 because she ran it in 6. Remember last year she did the same thing? She went out really fast. Fell apart. I didn't have much on that other than I would just repeat the same stuff I said last year, which is the 400 is hard for everybody. And if you go out hard, it makes it especially difficult. So, and I think her season turned out okay, right?
Yeah. Oh, looks like we got Chloe.
No, we're getting close.
We're getting close. We have a chair.
We have a chair. We're getting close. We're getting close to getting Chloe. Yeah, Anthony says Elaine used that 400 to shake out the cobwebs and to tell her that her current coach needs to be gotten rid of. Yeah, I don't know about all that, but Chloe can hear us. Let's see. We're gonna get there. She is. We got Nico. Can we bring her on? All right, joining us now, Chloe Abbott. She was runner-up at the NCAA 400 back in 2019. Current guest. No, what are you? Contestant. What's the terminology for what you're doing on The Voice?
Technically, I am a contestant being on The Voice right now.
All right, break it down for us because you're talking to track fans now. They may not be singing fans. They may not be game show fans. Give us the 60-second, how does this whole thing work and how do we get you to win?
Yeah, so basically, The Voice is a reality singing show where you go on and you sing in front of 4 coaches that don't see you. You just sing, and if they like you and they want to turn for you, which means if they want to work with you further, they will press their button, turn their chair, realize who you are, get all excited, and then you guys are together now, you and the coach 4 coaches that turn for you, and you guys progress throughout the competition, working on different songs, singing a lot of different covers, and just getting coached by some of the best. That's debatable, but some really cool people, as coaches that are working in the industry right now. So it's definitely not like track, but it's still pretty interesting. I feel like it's pretty competitive.
What is the nerves like going on stage with the lights when you're competing with your voice versus competing with your legs? And what's like similarities between the nerves of before a big track race and the differences?
Honestly, like I've it's not the same at all. Like at all. I think like track and field is way harder. Like lining up to compete, to race, it's a different type of nerve. It's like that type of nerve is like I'm excited, I'm ready, but I also like know it's gonna hurt. So like you kind of have to like block out the pain sensory things that happen in your mind before a race. But like for the voice, it was like I'm not it was not a it was an excited nervousness. It was like a, ooh, I can't wait, especially because I'm not gonna be in pain. You know, I'm not gonna like go out and like have to feel like fatigue in my legs and like have to fight for my life. You know what I'm saying? Like you just go out there, you sing. If they like you, then they turn. If they don't like you, then you don't turn, and then you don't really, you either gain or lose, and you don't really lose too much. But I feel like prepping for it definitely was the same. I kind of like locked in similarly to how I compete. Just the voice is like really intense. It's a very high pressured situation. You're locked in a hotel for like a month, and you're just practicing this song over and over and over again, and you're trying to get it right. You're doing practices throughout the day, production commitments, and it's definitely a lot, and you don't realize how much it is until like you like leave the hotel and you're like, oh my God. Like Bobby like let me like take a week off from practice and everything because it was so much work. Like they work you. But so I think preparation wise, it was similar to track and field, like double day practices and, eating right. With singing, you have to warm up almost every single day, twice a day to keep your vocals lubricated and properly, in the right places. And then you can't eat certain things like sugar and, juice that has a lot of sugar in it. It's just like similar to track and field, restricting certain things, but just for different purposes. So,
what is there like you know, I I think I can sing, but I'm not that great of a singer. I try singing, and I know there are certain notes that I try to hit where I know like I don't know if I'm gonna hit it on this day. Like I don't know if I'm ready for it. Similar to like in a race where like am I gonna have it in that final 150 in that final 50 meters? So when you're in the middle of singing a song when it's one take, you don't get to sing it twice. Is there a point where like you're thinking ahead, be like, am I going to be able to hit that note the same way? Am I going to have it in my legs in the final 50?
Kind of. I never thought of it that way. I feel like with singing, it's like yeah, like it's very similar to track and field because it's like you really have to just go for it. Like it's like, yeah, you may get lactic and you may like feel that monkey jump on your back that last 50 meters, but like if you think about it that way, then it's like it's gonna happen. It's inevitable at that point. Like it's over for you. And so I feel like with the same thing with singing, it's like it's coming. Like you know that the note's gonna come. So at this point, you might as well just give it your all. And even if you don't hit the note, like you just gotta follow through with confidence. I feel like track and field exposes you a little bit more. Like you don't, no matter how confident you look at that point, like it's over. Like it's obvious. There's only 8 people in this race. Like it's either you win or you lost. Like it speaks for itself. There's nothing really to calculate. It's just that obvious. But like with music, it's like you can be like, oh well, she probably was just tired, or she probably just didn't drink enough water in the beginning of the song. It's like track and field's like, no, she lost. That's it. And she didn't have it in her, and that's it because 7 other people got her or whatever. So it's similar, but I think the biggest similarity is the preparation with track and field and singing. I think that I'm honestly really grateful to be a professional athlete being in that situation because a lot of singers and creatives, never been in a high pressure situation where they have to compete at a high level in front of a whole bunch of people. And a lot of them fold, like they don't really know how to handle it because they've only, done coffee bars and saying at, little
Hmm.
gigs around for their families, but like never in front of four prestigious judges that really want you to sing your best on that stage in that moment. So a lot of people did fold. But I think track and field prepared me for that. So I was like, oh, this was a cakewalk, like compared to a track meet to me. Like
Hmm.
cakewalk, cakewalk.
You've been singing for a while. People who follow your career know that you used to sing national anthem when you were at Purdue, and you've released
Yeah.
music. I'm guessing though the attention that you're getting for it now is much bigger than any other moment in your singing career. Can you just describe what the reception has been like?
Yeah, I feel like it's it's interesting because obviously I thought it was gonna be it's super hard to gauge sometimes with reality TV, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Like you're not in control of the narrative. You're not really in control of what goes out. You're not really in control of the videos they post. So like at that point you're kind of leaving your fate and your public, persona up to the hands of producers that are just trying to do their job. So I feel like um, it has been interesting because I've never really been looked at as like someone who's doing singing full time. And I
Mhm.
think when people saw me doing The Voice, it's like, oh my gosh, you're really doing this. And I will say it creates another level of like, oh, so if you're actually doing this, and that means that we hold you to another level of expectation now. Now it's not like you're just singing for fun. Now it's like, oh, now that you're actually taking this seriously, let's get
Mhm.
into the details of each song you just sang. And
Yeah.
it just opens up the door to a lot more like chatter and a lot more like scrutiny. But like I said, I mean, I feel like I experienced that for the first time with that 4x4 at Purdue with
Mhm.
Kendall Ellis and our 404 getting tracked down or whatever. Like that was the first time I feel like I've ever experienced like hate on like social media.
Mhm.
And so, and it wasn't even directed to me, but it was just like our team got like, and we still get like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that happened so long ago. Like,
Random
I don't even
TikToks pop
know.
up of that clip sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, like it'll be like an anniversary. Like, oh yeah, remember so many years ago when this happened? And it's like, guys, this always happens. This
Mhm.
always happens in track and field. Like, let us not forget. Like, people always get hawked down. But ever since that situation, I've learned how to like handle the scrutiny or like, you know, opinions of other people that, don't know anything about track field or don't know anything about music.
Mhm.
So I feel like being a professional athlete is really kind of, especially in the public eye. I mean, and then if I talk super transparently, I mean, like turning pro has not been easy. I've been very open and transparent about that in my journey. And I've heard so many things about me being a professional athlete and not being able to run the same way I ran in college and all that jazz. And it's like, you know, when you're a professional athlete, you sign up for the wins and the losses,
Mhm.
and the injuries and you sign up for the entire journey. So I've kind of had to grasp that. But in the same token, like with The Voice, when you are on the show, you're signing up for whatever those producers want to put out for you. And you're signing up for whoever has something to say about you in a negative way or a positive way. Like it's just a part of the game, like so you gotta pay attention to it and let it fuel you in a negative or positive way, or you just ignore it and live your life and keep pursuing what you want to pursue.
You mentioned Bobby earlier. You're out in LA now with a new training group. Obviously, a lot of huge names in that training group. You have world record holders like Kenny Harrison, Sidney McLaughlin, Nervoni, a thing Mo. What's that been like, and who do you train with on a day-to-day basis out there?
Oh man, honestly, this has been one of the most transformative experiences being with this group. I mean, last year I was with Bobby as well, but it was just me and Morley Kinnison, and then Sydney and Allison. And I mean, being in that group already was just like, whoa. I mean, I've always dreamed of working with Allison, like running with her, but let alone like being her teammate at one
Mhm.
point. So that was huge. And then, right, our group just progressed. Like out the blue, randomly. Just this big old, everyone's pulling up to LA and we're all gonna train together and be like teammates. And I was like, okay. And so on a regular basis, Jenna wouldn't be happy to say this, but we train together pretty often. But Jenna, I'm a 400-meter runner, and Jenna's, 200-meter specialist. But sometimes she has to do my workouts. And so whenever we have a workout together, she's like, I don't want to work with you. Like, it's gonna be hard today. Like, you guys are always putting me with Chloe. But it's been really huge. I think for me, the biggest thing is like having support from people like Kenny and Jenna, specifically, because they are vets in the game and they also have been through, the scrutiny of people overlooking their races or having so much to say about them. And, like just different, I think, aspects of track and field that not a lot of people talk about, the anxiety that comes with it, or like just the real life things that happen when you're trying to just do your job and do a good job at it. And it's been great being able to talk to them because they have just normalized the experiences that I've had, and they'd be like, oh girl, I went through that, it's all right, like it's okay, things happen, like you just gotta refocus and just prioritize what needs to be prioritized. So having not only them but like a thing in Brandon Miller, who I think are also fabulous additions to the team. I mean, they are so joyous, and like they're only 21 years old, so like sometimes we'll like try and go and hang out as a team, and we can't go to certain places because they're like not of age. So it's like, okay, we forget sometimes, like, we're not in college, and we aren't in college at all. And so it's nice having like them too, like breaking up. I think like we all have just such special personalities, and I think that's why Formula Kersey has been kind of formulated, because it's just nice to give the track world like an insight on like, like our personalities and how we're all so different. There's unsponsored people and sponsored people in the group, and we all have different levels of greatness that we've achieved. Obviously Sid with like a world record, Kenny with her world record at one point, and Jenna with just how amazing her mind is. I could talk about Jenna all day. Morla K, and like how many relays she's been on. She's like competed with almost every single vet in the game, Morla K. And then Maya, who's been working with Allison during the BK Riders, era, where it was just every vet from that point, and so I think it's just been nice, like having so many, like a vast range of talent all in one area. And I think we really do like push each other. Like there's so many things that like I used to struggle with, and then like coming now to the group, being able to just talk to them in an open way has been amazing. And I've been able to just have a lot more confidence and like motivation, because like, we're going to do relays, and we're going to like, when we practice together, like we don't just die by ourselves, we're dying together. And it's just, it kind of reminds me of college, and it's just been a really great like experience, because as a professional athlete you don't really have those team experiences as you did in college. So not only having a team, but then having a team of vets, it's like, okay, I think this is great, like it's awesome. So it's really been like transformative since working with them as a group. So yeah.
Have you ever like just in practice seen something like amazing that no one else is ever going to be able to see because it wasn't filmed? Like I imagine seeing Sydney do some rep might have been like, what did I just see? Or seeing a Thingmo do a 400 some at one point is like, what did I just like? Has there ever been something that you saw like, well, I just saw a history that no one's ever going to know about?
Yes, on a regular basis. And I mean, like, and it's awesome when we see those things and we're just like, wait, what did she just do? Wait, what did a thing just run? Oh, she just did like repeat, I don't know, 400s in the same time every single time. Is she negative splitting? Like, does she only have 9 seconds rest? Like, there's so many things that happen in the group that like we are just like, Jesus. Especially with Kendra. Kenny is really like, I mean, I think like her focus and like at practice, I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned being in this group. It's like when we pull up to practice, it's not a game. Like we're not here for play. Like we're not here to just do what Bobby's telling us to do and then go home. It's like, no, this is our job. Like we eat, sleep, and breathe this thing. And I think that's something that I learned because I am super chill. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna pull up, work out, do what we gotta do, go home, see you tomorrow. But like, no, like everyone has their process. And like, I mean, I think like I was saying, Kenny's focus, I think, is just the thing that I've paid attention to the most. She gets to practice and it's all work, no play. Like, and I kind of love it because it kind of reminds me of like, we're not here to just run 50 point or like 23, 22. Like, we're here to break records. We're here to like put our names on the walls. Like, we're here to like really change the sport, you know, with what we're doing. And so it just puts everything into perspective. Like, this is not a game. And yeah, so I practice. And even with Formula Cruci, I think like we're like, okay, we want to show people some stuff, but like we also really love how, you know, there's things that are happening that, right, like not everyone's going to be able to see, and we love that. And I think that's what keeps the group so cool, because we want to open, you know, we want to show the world what's going on with who we are, but there's also a beauty in like keeping things really intimate and keeping practice and not getting wrapped up in the hype of trying to make Formula Cruci a big thing, you know. So yeah, there's moments when I'm like, what the freak? Like, what? Oh, okay. And we just sit there and we just say, all right, next rep. And Bobby, you know, Bobby's just like always just walking around cool. Like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. All right, next group. Like, let's go. So it's awesome.
Last question, going back to The Voice, and then we'll let you go. You're on Team Chance the Rapper, as people know who have been paying attention. I don't know the mechanics of the show though. Like, how much is left to take? Is it already done? Like what's the process from here until everybody else sees it?
Yeah, so a lot of the episodes are pre-recorded, and then in May, that's when the live shows happen, and that's when people can actually vote in and yeah, like send votes and all that jazz. So yes, I do. I think the next episode actually airs March 27th, and that is the battle rounds where Chance puts all of us together. Like, he puts two people together that are on the same team. So the teams are battling against one another, and we sing a duet. And, you know, then Chance will be able to pick, you know, who sang better. So, like I said, it was like another competition aspect. And I was like, okay, let's line up. Like, let's go. Like, it's you against me. Like, I'm not new to this. I'm not new to competition. So I think that also is cool. Like, some people, they fold, and some people, they're able to stand up and do what they got to do. So, and then at the end of the day, it's really kind of what the coaches want to hear the most, you know, like it's really up to them. No matter how good you sing or how bad you sing, it's really up to them. So it's just like so much things left for chance, you know? So
literally.
Yeah. Literally. Like,
well, I think you've made history because you're the only person to be simultaneously coached by Bobby Kersey and Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a record that's ever going to be broken.
No, unless, you know, someone else on your group also can sing. I think can Brandon Miller throw down some lyrical rhymes? No, does he have any talent there?
No.
Yeah,
and I love him, but no. No.
Does anybody have any singing talent in the group?
Or that you don't want to out them because then it'll be like, oh, we're asking them to sing in the press conference.
Chloe said you could sing.
Yeah, a thing. Just start
Chloe
singing.
said you're really good.
I would hear that forever, and they would not let that down. I wowould say the closest person to singing well actually would be Kenny. Like,
okay,
Kenny. Because we have very similar interests in music, we've learned. And so I think Kenny would be the one to be the singer, but like, don't ever ask.
Heavy quotes of singing. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like very like for interview purposes. But
who tries the hardest?
I think so.
Who tries the hardest? They don't have the talent, but man, they really want it when it comes to singing.
I don't think any of them actually try.
Oh, okay.
Like if I'm gonna be honest, like, because I sing all the time. I'm always singing, like at practice, and you know, we're just hanging out. And no one actually like goes out and like tries to do it. Everyone, I think, just is like, yep, that's you. And we're just going to let your freak fly, you know, like we're not going to dabble in it. But you got to just pay attention because some people do, but just not in public.
Maybe they're intimidated by your ability, so they wait till you're off the track and then they all start busting into show tunes.
Yeah, it's like an episode of Glee when she leaves.
She's gone. Now we can sing, and it's
Chloe's
all just
clear.
like, yeah.
I feel like no. I feel like everyone really is just like, like our group. I don't think is like that type of we just want to. No one. Honestly, there are some I'm not going to expose who, but there is someone who tries to rap.
Okay.
We'll make that.
We're
gonna
do some investigation.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say who, but yeah, I was not the singing, but there's someone who likes to rap sometimes.
Right. I have an idea who I think it is.
We can investigate.
We'll investigate that later.
Chloe, thanks a bunch for your time. You got a lot going on out there. We appreciate you taking some of the time out of your day to chat with us, and best of luck on the track and also on the show.
Yeah, stay tuned to NBC. Definitely stay tuned to the battle rounds, and just excited to rep the track and field world and do what I do. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Chloe.
Thank you. All right. Gordon, successful interview. We mentioned before, we haven't done a lot of interviews recently. We're going to do it. Great guest to start off. We've had
the first of many.
Yeah. We hope.
The bar's been raised. The bar's high.
If they're like that, you got to do more of them, right?
Yeah.
She was great. Chloe's great. She's been great. I've actually gone out and filmed a workout with her, and she's not joking when she says she sings through the whole workout, basically. I mean, not when she's running, but like rest time in between reps, like warming up, like there's a soundtrack. It was incredibly entertaining. All in the Game says, quote, lyrical rhymes. Gordon, really? Yeah, you kind of eat yourself
I was
there.
trying to throw down a freestyle rap is what I was trying to say.
Oh, you could have just said rhymes, or you could have said, does he sing?
Lyrical rhymes. That's a cool way of saying it.
You could just say, does he sing? That's it. All right, we'll leave it there. We went super long. Thanks to Nico for producing. Shout out, we got someone chiming in from Spain now too. So we got to do a roll call at the beginning.
Yes.
Of the
countries.
Pod. Get all the countries.
Do you think we could get someone to watch our podcast from how many countries do you think we can get to?
That's what I'm saying. Next time we'll try to do that.
Let's try to get to.
We'll set a marker and that'll be our PR, and then we'll build off that.
Yeah, try to get to 20.
Yeah.
20 countries.
That'd be 20 be a lot.
I think we could do it. We can get to 20 countries.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Talk to you guys
subscribe.
Friday, right?
Friday.
12:30. See you then.